Hello to anyone in the future, if you're watching this. I'm just gonna do some art journaling. How about that? Hello. Welcome. I'm just gonna see what calls to me, Dawn. I'll most likely be drawing faces because I love my faces. I'm gonna use these stickers for eyes just for now. No, I have a lo-fi playlist on in the background. So that's why you're hearing Bare Necessities. I'm gonna draw a face around these eyes, and then I think I'm just gonna fill the whole page with faces. I'm gonna try and make them a bit more conventionally attractive today, unlike these ones over here. Well, good night, Trudy, just in case you fall asleep. It's pretty chill today, so hopefully this will send you off into a nice slumber. Just felt like drawing and chatting. Probably because I have other work to do, so I'm at procrastination station. You'll end up dreaming about whatever I create. How long have you been doing YouTube? Since 2017, so this is 5 years. It's a nice slow grind. Give her little bangs. And some eyebrows. Hi, Shauna. Your clip looks like her beret. Totally. It's a little uneven. Which I keep trying to shave in that side. Thank you. I'm gonna do this one here, and then have another drawing just kind of overlap her. And I might end up pulling out some more of her features as I go. Oh, tissue. Sorry. Oh, these ads, come on. I thought I skipped them all. Oh, thank you, Nikki. I'm glad to hear that. Thanks, Dawn. Alright, now I'm gonna go over this one again. Oh, I drew a face that I really liked yesterday. I drew it on a post-it note. So I'm gonna try and redraw that face. This here. It was an Instagram Peter Phillips makeup, and I just really liked the angle. It was actually a much more exaggerated angle than that, so Maybe I'll try and draw the exaggerated version here today. It was very much like her forehead was huge and exaggerated. But that can be tricky. That's what I'm here for. Doesn't really matter if I get it wrong today. No one's gonna be mad at me. I won't even be mad at me. Oh, it's a little bit more squished. I won't really know until I put the rest of the features on, but I'm happy with where they're placed for now. I think this has to come in a little bit. I'm using pencil, but I don't really feel like erasing anything, so we'll see what happens. It's only ever slightly 3/4 this face, so it's one of the easier turned faces to draw. Not like the dreaded profile. And I believe it's her hair that will actually make it look much more large forehead. And it frames the side of the face. Which is actually great, you don't have to draw an ear or anything. It almost looked a little haunting, the actual image. I didn't capture a great likeness, I just liked the turn of the face. But I think this is probably a little bit better for that exaggerated forehead. It's giving me a little bit Christina Ricci, Wednesday Addams, do you feel? Oh, you just joined Collage Club, welcome. I used some Collage Club eyes. Yeah, I'm loving this. My 10-year-old and I truly enjoy watching your content. You've been so motivational. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. Always a good reminder for me to keep it PG, family friendly. Oh, you can see that? Good. You know what? It's not lost on me that I was actually sneakily watching The Addams Family on the televisions at Zumba yesterday, because I stand near the door at Zumba just for my own personal reasons, and I can see out into the big open space, and they have all these televisions above the treadmills. They have a theater upstairs, so you can actually go and sit on a bike or go on a treadmill, and there's a big like theater screen, so you're going to the movies but you're exercising the whole way through it. I think some people just go in there to like chill on a bike and watch a movie, but sometimes they play it down on the televisions downstairs as well. So I was doing Zumba, literally watching The Addams Family out the door as it was going. Ian Niece loves raiding the Collage Club stickers. I'm right there with her. I do love to raid my own stash. Could you give Miss Addams braids? I could actually. I don't know if I'll change, because I do like the full hair, but I think I can add some braids. Like I'll just add a braid down here possibly. There we go. I'm still going to do some more faces, so I don't want to put too much work in if I'm just going to go over the top of it anyway. Like her hair is coming right down through this face. And I will say, for me, there's a real difference between the faces I managed to do with references and the faces I do from the top of my head. have a very rote learning style, so I get really used to the way I do it, and then it's really hard for me to break out of that until I start like chameleon switching styles again. So this is always a bit of a default, but I do like to use references just to expand my own horizons a bit. But I think I'm going to change the style up completely now and go for a bit Yoshitomo Nara, which also has that really large forehead, but it's a bit more of a bean shape. And you know what? I think I'm going to change up my pencil as well. I might go for the blue of the red and blue. So this looks a little bit more cartoony usually, but I'm going to blend something a little bit more realistic with something a bit more cartoony, which generally just means adding some extra texture or shading or gradients or patterns. The thing that people usually associate with being really cartoony is just a really clean line work or a very simple line work. It's really easy to break it out of that. I think it's actually much easier to learn drawing with cartoons and then learn how to like kind of upscale that type of illustration if you don't want a really cartoony look. But some people really like that animated effect. I like a mix. And it's not that I just like a mix to look at, because I certainly like to look at things that look animated, but I like to actually draw the extra details. That's where I have all the fun, adding on all the extra details and the shading and the decorations. So she looks a little bit more sinister. I can change her little micro expression by changing her brows, but I kind of like that she looks a little up to no good. It's very in theme with my villains. I'm gonna give her a bit of a squiggly wiggly hair. I like this look where it looks like it's almost stuck to the head. And it's just swirl patterns. It's actually not hair at all. I mean, it is. It's the hair, but for all we know, it could be just painted on, not actual strands. Kind of reminds me of a Cupid doll when they dip their head in glitter for the Royal Easter Show. Excuse me for a second while I just deal with my nose. You should draw a profile since you said it was dreaded. I honestly don't enjoy drawing them. I have a whole stamp set just to avoid it. Love a good squiggly wiggly. Can you do more page in 10? I do have plans to do more. They're not filmed yet, so when they get filmed, I'll schedule them. She looks like a young Ursula. Oh, she kind of does, actually. That's funny. We just drew a young Ursula. She's a bit more of a baby Ursula on YouTube Live the other day. The difference with this one, she's going to have a little body. These have long necks, which I like. It's quite elegant. But these ones have smaller bodies. Actually, you did request it, so I will have a go at it, but I'm not going to claim that today's the day I'm going to enjoy drawing a profile. And I'm going to I'm going to reference my stamp set because I still just don't feel like I've learnt it enough to be able to do it enjoyably off by heart. Something I still need a reference for, which there's no shame in. So here's my stamp set. This is the stamp, and there's another one there. They both have the same profile. A bit of an exaggerated profile. I'm gonna use my mechanical pencil for this one. I like to do a big circle first off. And then dip that nose in. I like it to be a little ski slope looking nose. That tiny little Cupid's bow area. It's usually a bit of a heart-shaped mouth, because I like them a little pouty. And a teeny tiny little chin. And all of that has to kind of happen underneath this side area. And then we'll go up here for the ear, which will connect about here. And I like big, winged out ears. And eyes for the side. I actually like to keep them closed a lot of the time because it can be a very flat eyelid shape. And then I can show all the lashes. Gorgeous lashes. Put the little nostril on. It's probably a little too small for you to see, but I can give you a close-up in a second. I actually think the hardest part about drawing the profile is the lips and the chin. I think the eyes and the nose people don't usually struggle with a lot, but it's the lips and the chin because it's such an odd angle. And it's so easy to make the chin really, really pronounced and really big. And it's not a look that people find typically conventionally attractive for kind of whimsical feminine faces. But I do over-exaggerate that head a lot, so I can kind of bring it back in. Also the distance between all of this. Like the ear actually doesn't need to be that far away, it can be a lot closer. There's really not a ton of space between your eye and your ear, but it's something that we can move as we go. But I never encourage people to stick out the things that they don't enjoy. You could get better at it, enjoy it, but to be honest, I've had success drawing profiles before and it's just not something I love, so I just left it. I think it's important to focus on what really brings you a lot of joy, rather than fill all of your time up with a lot of effort on things that you don't enjoy that much. How much I've already changed that head so much. Oh, hi Linda. Oh yeah, we did the babies yesterday. I ended up, not yesterday, the day before, right? I put it up on the blog. I don't know if you saw, but I felt guilty because everyone was upset that I didn't upload it. And I thought, you know what, I didn't share anything that was too secret about Virtual Voyage, so it should be fine. But it's all there if you want to catch it again. I will faff about with this because it's just something I'm not familiar with. But I think I'm ready to just put the hair on, call it done. It's fun to do the side profile hair though, because you can really see the bangs. So I like to do like a big swoopy swoosh. It's easy to show a side part as well. And sometimes I'll do the hair with a bit more of a sharp angle. Can be really fun. She's got beautiful mermaid swooping trusses. Trusses, is that the word? She's just a mountain of hair. There we go. And if you do end up doing too much wrong with the chin, just make the hair go over everything. And you don't have to show it. Just the same reason I put the hands in the pocket or behind the back a lot. I reckon this, looking at it on the screen, this could probably be a bit more exaggerated, to be honest. There we go. Yeah, the profiles don't really allow for all that dramatic eye shading. You can get a good wing on, but it's just a more confusing shape, and you only get to see one eye, which I love drawing the eyes, so it's not always as fun. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh, your mum's doing the Merry Mix Media. I think I already have my ideas for Merry Mix Media this year, which would put me further ahead than I've ever been for that. Watch me get there and think, oh, well, I'll try something different. It would have been a waste of time preparing all those ideas. I think what I'm going to do now is just kind of shade in some of the features that I want to play with. Doesn't mean everything's going to get finished or colored in or anything, but like I really like drawing the lips, so I'm just going to shade those in. Might add on some cheeks, might pop some colors in there. I'm just going to play with the drawings I just created. I would typically, like if I just wanted to play face, I would typically just stamp them out and play on top of the stamps as the blueprints. But I don't have any stamps that are this big. These are pretty big faces. And I'm trying to teach myself just to work a bit bigger. Just for some personal growth. There's no real reason for it, to be honest. Sometimes catch a desire to see if I can do something or grow in a certain way. Find myself doing all these things that I don't need to be doing. But I gotta chase down my own creative frenzies, otherwise no one will believe me when I say that I really do it. You can add more fun details in when you work bigger. I do agree. Especially around the eyes, which I love. It's also when I scale it down, the texture really condenses and it makes a much more interesting effect than drawing it at size. I mean, I won't say I prefer one over the other. I think they're both valid for different reasons. But I just used to not draw bigger because I was just afraid that I couldn't. And I just got so used to drawing at the size that I drew at, I didn't think I needed to bother. Which I mean, I typically, like, honestly don't need to bother, but I want to bother. She's got straight hair. I'm gonna let her hair disappear behind our Wednesday Addams there. I've never worried about my eyebrows going over the hair. I think the eyebrows are so fun and usually have so much expression that I've never worried if they kind of bled off the face or went into the hair. I'd much rather see the full eyebrow than hide it. That's why I draw short bangs as well, so I can put the eyebrows on. Typically, if you draw larger bangs, you can't see the eyebrows. I just like the eyebrows. It's like this, the winged liner shape. It's that same kind of feeling of enjoyment I have drawing that shape, which I'm going to add to these just so I can make them a little bit more alluring. Give her more allure. Let's connect those lids. If I draw all over it, it might look like I even just drew these eyes on here rather than stuck them on. Top tip. How to fake Collage Club looking like it's a part of your drawing. Especially if you print it on matte paper. It's so easy just to draw over the top of. And if you don't like it, you can just reprint it. Bigger lunches. That is a lash fiesta. Fiesta de resistance. I'm bilingual. I'm reading the chat, sorry, I'm in and out. I'm trying to get used to drawing smaller. When I was at fashion college 25 years ago, I sketched everything at A3. A3, wow. Oh, I do remember doing that when I went to a fashion portfolio illustration class. That's funny that you said that. This brought back a lot of memories. A3. All my fashion illustrations were A3 too. That's so funny. I even did like a portrait that was A3 size. That's so funny. So I did know how to draw bigger. I guess I just got out of that habit. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I think for this one, I'm just gonna shade in the shadow areas with this sand color. And hopefully imply that her skin is kind of pale, pale white. That stupid hairline, that red one, is coming right through her eye, and for some reason it looks like that clown, Pennywise. Can't unsee that now. It has to go. Might add a bit of a different color to the lips and the cheeks just to blush them a little bit. Nothing too intense, but maybe a coral. Just something a little bit heavier. Right in the center of those lips. There we go. Oh, good morning, Jody. She's giving very much clown, which isn't helping my Pennywise case. Maybe, no, I didn't say the journal, Christine. It is a Strathmore Mixed Media hardcover journal. It's pretty big, I think. What's the size on this? Strathmore Mixed Media, 64 pages. Oh, US letter size, 8.5 by 11. And it's 90-pound paper, so it's quite thin. It's almost like a sketch paper, but it does take watercolor. It doesn't give the best results for watercolor, but it'll work. just want to give her like a green kind of mint hair. I'm not going to fully color it in, but maybe just go over it a little bit. Like in the part. There we go. And just around the face, just to frame it in. And up in these shadow areas. Actually, that looks good there. I won't add that extra in. I'll really let that hair fall off the side so it just can accentuate that forehead even more. There we go. Let this hair fall off down to the edge of the page since there's not going to be anything there. I will probably find a way to finish this page. But I'll let that fall off for now. Add some of that green into her eyes. Although she's looking a little bit more ethereal now. I'm just going to tighten up that eye line a little bit. Just tightening up the top line of the eye, no matter how sketchy the rest of it is, will pull it all together. So, top tip. I wasn't meaning to give out any tips today, but here I am. Trying not to overcorrect too much, but I do like to sharpen the image up if I like it. You don't really need to add all the details, just a few key details. And it'll play a trick on anyone who looks at it. They'll look at the small few details you add and see those and be like, oh wow, look at all the detail. Okay, I don't think I'm going to do anything to this one. Perhaps some red cheeks, just for fun. Just a small little dash of red cheek. Dot markers! Totally. They finish everything. I'm just going to give her a little body. She's going to float away into this one's head. And then I think I want to bring this shoulder over the top, really confuse the eye, and have her pop out of that shoulder. I want to do in color? Maybe. Just a quick color. Purple hair? Can do. Or maybe I'll outline the hair and then I'll get my dot markers to fill it in with purple dots. And this one can go over the top, this little tendril. Just put a slight bit of shading on there, just to separate it from the shoulder. And give that a bit of shading in there. My brain wants to say shading and shadowing together. It's coming up with all kinds of random words in my head. Oh, you got some dot markers and you love them? I tell you, I should have just bought the whole set from the beginning, because I have bought almost every single one open stock. I have a more blue purple or a red purple. This one's called Hyacinth and this one's called Splash. Hyacinth is more of a match. Hyacinth Bouquet. Do I have any Keeping Up Appearances fans in the chat? Mrs. Bucket. I loved Keeping Up Appearances, like any young Australian boy did. Would watch it all the time. I just thought it was such a crack. There we go, we've kind of set those two apart now. It's giving us some really unusual issues. Let's kind of erase some things we don't need, bring back some clarity to this page. Some of that red-blue pencil will erase. The red more so than the blue. But I don't need it to be fully neat. Just want to clean up some of this space so we can add some stuff. Make a whole journal spread out of it. There we go. With Onslow, I know my aunt wanted to name her dog Onslow, but she's only ever had girl dogs, so I thought she was close. She named one of them Daisy, so that's good. Arrows. The Bouquet residence, lady of the house speaking. Goodness. Oh, I should go and watch it. Poor Richard. What were the neighbors' names? Oh. What were the neighbors' names? Roger? No. Is there an official start date for VV5? It will be my first live and I can't wait. Ashley, there is it October 11th? Don't quote me on it. Emmett! Elizabeth and Emmett. Oh, thank you for telling me that was gonna get me. Checking my little planner here. It says on my planner October 11th. And then I usually open registration 2 weeks before that. So I think September 27th is when I should be opening registration. So, usually if I want to tie it all together, I'm gonna have to think of a theme or Violet. The one with a sauna and room for a pony. I'm so glad you guys know it. I just love it. I like stars as a theme. I'm gonna draw the outlines of the stars first. She's gonna be holding them. She loves stars. I'm gonna fill all this negative space with a star crown. There we go. I don't really want to do moons and stars because that's going to give, it's going to give astrological, it's going to give Sailor Moon, and that's not really the vibe I'm in. I wonder. Well, do you know what? She's supposed to have hair coming down here, so why don't I just give her some red and white striped hair? That'll be something easy for me to do that I can enjoy the monotony of. I think we definitely need some leaves going on down here, some vines, all up in her business. I love the episodes where Hyacinth gets the vicar involved because he just can't stand up. So funny. The one where they go to the countryside and are they looking to buy a property, but they end up in the teeny tiny little house. We used to have little tea set, little china tea set, and I would get just as nervous as Elizabeth holding it, thinking that I was going to drop it. She just made everything look so impossible. Like, how could she never get used to holding a cup of tea? Jody used to watch it all the time. That's so funny. You know, we all want to sign up as soon as possible so we can say we do. Yeah, well, I think it's September 27th. We'll make that our big announcement. I gotta check now because I don't want to be wrong. Yeah, the 27th. What week is it today? The 21st. Oh, wow, that's literally less than a week away. It's 6 days away. It was on here on PBS every Sunday with Are You Being Served as time goes by and waiting for God. I think I remember being Are You Being Served. I watched a play because I used to watch Fawlty Towers as well, and I watched a local production, like it's not even regional theatre. It's like local theatre production in Wyong of all places in the Central Coast, of Fawlty Towers, and it was such a crack up. I don't know if it's like an actual play or if they just made it up, but it was really funny. But I did used to watch Are You Being Served? Oh, you're watching it this morning. How funny. Yeah, I don't think any of these shows are familiar to a lot of people I know here in the States, but a lot of Australians grow up with British programming. And I wondered sometimes if Canadians do too, because Canadians are a part of the Commonwealth. And that was the only reason I could think of, because it's not like we're geographically close to the UK. Jodie, you liked Fawlty Towers as well. I don't imagine you'll be seeing much of that in Japan. All I used to play in Japan, I'd put on MTV and just let that play the entire day until it would ring in my ears and it sounded like I was just 6 hours deep in a pachinko parlor and had to turn it off. Japanese programming in one word is what I describe as very, well, I guess that's 2 words, but very excitable. High energy. But I live for the fantasy. Tell me you have all of your villain material ready and you practice Baby Ursula. Oh, good. They have them all on Amazon. I'm subscribed. BritBox. Oh, I've never heard of that. Sasha Canadian watch those shows too. Yeah, I might see. That's what I was thinking. Good to hear I wasn't too far off. Still watch them when I'm bored. If I feel homesick, I definitely put all those. Oh, I put on Australian for the same reason, but Kath and Kim. I will watch all of Kath and Kim from start to finish, which has honestly been horrendous for lockdown because when am I not feeling homesick? But I heard that possibly around December, Australia said they were planning to be 80% vaccinated or something, and I don't know, my family keeps sending me articles. I try not to get my hopes up too much because it's a big, depressing letdown if that changes. So I'm just gonna let it happen and see what happens. Actually, do you know what? I might do a little moon face over here. Oh, you moon face. Clock out reference. With lashes. So that I can scribble in some starry night sky. I never got into like Coronation Street or EastEnders or anything. Because we had neighbours and home and away, and I think most families in Australia were either a neighbour's family or a home and away family, if you watched either of them. Some families just didn't, but my family was a home and away family. And that's enough soapy 7 p.m. drama for me. I don't watch it. Is it still on? The mermaid washing up on the beach was a bit of a last straw for me, especially since she washed up with no mermaid tail on, so that just wasn't fair. How are you going to go so far as to make mermaids seem believable and then not give them a mermaid tail? I mean, if you're asking me to suspend disbelief, let me go all the way there, please. It's the same for me too. I'd love to go home for Christmas this year, but don't want to get my hopes up, fingers crossed. I know. I mean, I already told Steve, I'm getting my passport renewed. I'm currently in the middle of getting it, like I have my appointment, but it's not scheduled until the end of October. And I already said, like, honestly, as soon as either Australia or Japan opens up, like, it's one or the other. It's the race to who wants me to spend all of my money. I will single-handedly re-stimulate either country's economy. So y'all can bet, like, as soon as one of the countries opens up, I'm gone. 2 weeks, immediate leave of absence. But I obviously would love to go home. Come to the UK. Is the UK open? Are y'all back to normal? As far as I'm concerned, like, I don't know. Since June, California's been, like, back to quote-unquote normal. And I don't even know if the US really ever closed its borders, to be honest. It just more so that companies stopped flying people here. Because I swear, like, even though there's not as much international tourism, like, I still see lots of people on holidays from different countries come here, and I think their main issue is they wouldn't be able to get back. So I don't know where they're really coming from, but as far as I can tell, we didn't shut our borders off. I'm glad you keep talking about renewing a passport, because that reminds me I've got to do mine. It expires next year. Yeah, I mean, mine is not expired yet. October 17th mine expires, and I only realized because Steve went to Italy for that workshop, and when he was asking if I could go, Italy needs 6 months at the end of your passport to be valid for travel, and since it was July, my passport would have only been valid for August, 3 months after the trip date, and you need 6 months on the passport. So technically I was like, oh, I guess I don't need to worry about it, because honestly, if I'm going anywhere, the next place I'm going is home, and I still should be able to travel. And if I needed to, I could get an emergency passport, but I was like, why bother doing all of that paperwork for an emergency one if you could just get it renewed in a timely fashion? So I took my lazy pants off and just did it, but goodness me, it's so annoying, isn't it? All that adult junk. It's open for me. A lot of Americans with British parents do too. Oh, of course. That makes complete sense. Mine expired last year. I bet a lot of people's have expired and they just, through no need to travel, haven't realized just yet. In fact, one of Steve's friends got a gig and needed to travel, and I was like, is your passport fine? And he was like, oh no. So he had to go and get a rushed passport as well. I've never had mine renewed, just had it when I went to Japan last, lol. I think mine was, it's been 10 years. Yeah, it has. Goodness, I look so different on the photo. A part of me was being a little vain, thinking, well, I don't want it for another 10 years with what I look like right now because I'm currently in the process to lose a lot of weight. So it won't be an accurate depiction of my face when I come to travel. But I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't think any airport really cares what I look like on my passport. Just me. Although, have you seen AbFab when Patsy shows her passport photo? That's kind of what I envision mine would be like. So, big injustice to myself that I haven't been able to make that happen. Oh, I've just got this little section on the side here. And I think just to confuse everyone's eyes, I'm going to do blue stripes this way. I have a whole little jar of these red blue pencils and I really never get sick of using them. I love AbFab. I love AbFab so much. I look like someone you don't want to meet in a dark alley of me. I look, well, my stepdad said I look like a Pole Hereford, which is a cow with a really curly fringe. And he said my stage name should be Paul Hereford. Which is, it sounds a lot meaner than it is. My family have a really good way of ripping into one another really respectfully, so I wasn't upset about it. I definitely was going through a phase where it looked like I'd permed my bangs, which I don't know if that ever was a thing or it just happened to be a thing in my world. I don't know, but I was very committed to the bit. And I had also just plucked my eyebrows, and I was in a very, let's say, overzealous phase of eyebrow plucking. And because you're not allowed to smile in your passport photos for Australia, I'm telling you, I looked like a primped, preened, plucked fairy boy. It's just, and I look like I've got the biggest case of RBF you've ever seen. It's just not cute. I would show you if it didn't have all of my extremely personal information on it. But my visa photo was a lot better. I was actually very happy with my visa photo. I wanted it to be my headshot for a little while. Nevertheless, I am not really finished. I think she actually needs some purple dot freckles. I mean, they might all need dot freckles, actually. Now that I've full lock it. Dots on dots on dots on dots. She needs green. And she needs blue. Cleo, Nori. I know it's technically supposed to be mocking an Australian accent, but I do find it funny when people do that. I kicked myself when you and Steve went live with the model. I didn't get a good Thursday comment. Tammy, next time, please. You know, we still tell people to do that. I do have to explain to them first that there is a real reason for it. And a lot of people say different things, like say apple and then keep your mouth where it is when you're finished, or say, or like do a breath out. To me, Thursday is just funny because it's AbFab. Steve thinks it's a little bit more real than it is, which I don't have the heart to tell him that it's not totally real. But it does work sometimes. and I keep telling them it's just for this little factor here, that showing the two front teeth, and it just sounds a lot better to say, kind of pout your lips like you're saying Thursday, instead of saying, please bare your two front teeth to the camera. Because that sounds awkward. No one's gonna want to do that. But it's a real model thing. Look at any fashion magazine. If they're pursing their lips, usually you see the top two front teeth. And it's actually interesting because it's not something that a lot of people can naturally pull off. So it doesn't work for everybody. But it's a sign of aging when you open your mouth and you can actually see more of your bottom teeth than your top two teeth. So to me, it also represents a bit more of a youthful pout. And it just is obviously a bit more age specific as well sometimes. All interesting, but yeah, that would have been funny. Miss Mint went from Wednesday Addams to Poison Ivy. Oh, right, totally. Oh, she's giving me a little bit of, was it Nicole Kidman? No, Uma Thurman's. Uma Thurman. I'm on one today. You could join my dark alley gang from the sounds of it. Buying Tim Tams or mochis. I love Tim Tams. I finally crumbled and ordered a set of 12 zig dot markers the other day. Oh, Shauna, you're gonna love them. That's a guarantee. When have I not used them? Honestly, they're everywhere. Look, they're over here too. I'll try and remember it next time, but haha, as long as Steve won't get mad, lol. This is Becky G. Oh, hey, Becky G. I saw you were commiserating the loss of Pictionary from Virtual Voyage, which, to be honest, I don't know if Pictionary's fully gone, but I just wanted to say we had some other games that we haven't done before, so hopefully you'll find those just as easy to win. People are honestly going to think that I've been giving you the answers. That sounds like great advice. I've never heard that on a shoot before. They usually say open your mouth a little and relax your jaw, but I prefer your way. Yeah, just as long as you get stuck with the ooh part of Thursday and not the th part. Completely different look. But Jodie, I've seen your modeling photos. You know exactly what to do. Now just try not to laugh thinking of Patsy Stone doing it. I unfortunately have paper thin lips and not too prominent front teeth, so I actually find it very difficult to do. Not that there's much of a need for males to do it, but you know, I like to have a go. Every time I do it, it just does not look right. I'll get there. Maybe I'll buy myself some little false buck teeth or something. That could help. I'm doing a bit of a pattern fill, really for no other reason than I just felt like I wanted to keep going, and there's nowhere else to draw, so I was just going to pick up some markers and do some patterns. I like the pink. I'm going these stars too. This is a Tombow marker. I think I'll just put the pink everywhere, really. Some little stripes. Hello, Australia! If only for Steve's drawings. He was pretty good at them. I still haven't found a way to make Pictionary a lesson yet, but we'll get there. Some creative problem solving. You swear neither are giving you the answer. I don't think you'll be believed. I have pinched spinster lips, so it doesn't work for me. Really missed that line when he gave out lips. Yeah. Steve has enough lips for the both of us, so I think it's quite unfair, actually. You could use chiclets as teeth. They're it's a little gum, right? That's so funny, because don't you call them, I don't know if this is like how people get bullied, like saying four eyes, but I remember people used to say he's got chiclet teeth about the guy in that movie Reefer Madness. I forgot his name, but people would say he has chiclet teeth, and I thought it just meant he had two pieces of gum for teeth. I wouldn't think that was offensive, but I don't have them, so I don't know if it's offensive or not. Apologies to anyone with chiclet teeth. It's tragic. I had vampire fangs once, but I just put those two at the front. I know I'd look like a snake. This page got a lot more interesting when I added pink everywhere. Now I can't stop. Something About Mary mentions chiclet teeth too, I think. Oh goodness, I saw that so long ago. I think I was a little too young to understand that film. That film. Alrighty. Well, I think that's me done. I quite enjoyed that. I'm also enjoying drawing on my little post-it notes. I'm going to give it a quick sketch on my post-it note. There's something about post-it paper that I find really appealing. So I'm embarking on a new journey of drawing myself little post-it notes. I'm just going to stick them in my journals wherever I want. And it's such a small, manageable size. Could you imagine? New journal, post-it journal. It's just a post-it notepad. Testing all my supplies. Doing a page in 10 on a post-it note. I'll keep that in my back pocket for if I'm really run out of ideas. Thank you, Dawn. I hope you'll show us sometime how to draw Naito style. I'm having a lot of difficult... Oh, the Nada style or Naito? We did the Naito in Virtual Voyage 4, so I'm assuming you mean Nada. But yes, I have actually Virtual Voyage 5 content with him as the subject. And he's a lot of fun. The bean style head is so frustrating. It's such a trademark of that style. I feel like honestly you could do the bean and it would just look like how it's supposed to look. Was the page in 10 Nada, or I'm mixing it up too? That was Yoshitomo Nada. And all the dots I just said were Yayoi Kusama, because she does dots, but it wasn't really. It was just a way to make sense of why I did dots everywhere. Which was just a way to enjoy using my dot markers. Oh, she is giving me very, very Haunted Mansion Disneyland worker. I'm gonna give her a little name tag. I don't know how that happened. Probably because I put that Jack Skellington bow on her. And then a ruffle collar. I'm gonna give her little braids here. There we go. She's my little haunted mansion. Gettle. And I think I'll just date that one rather than write anything about it. What day is it? 21st. Memento, nautical blue. And I'm going to put her here as well. She can be with all my other post-its. There we go. Yeah, finally made a JB. Oh, I'm just about to leave. You made it. Technically, you made it, so we'll celebrate that. But I am leaving. Unless anyone has any specific questions, then I should stick around to answer. But happy level 3, Auckland. Auckland? Wow. I swear I'm Australian and I swear I know Auckland. Auckland, New Zealand just moved to level 3 after 5 weeks of hardcore lockdown. Congratulations. Enjoying the chat. I love Kath and Kim. I was a home away watcher too. Oh, you've been here. Oh, amazing. Good. Love Kath and Kim. Obsessed. Probably gonna go and put it on after this, actually. That's adorable. Thank you, Dawn. I've fallen in love with the Ai Natori and Yoshitaka Amano recently. Nice. Do you remember 20? But no, that's the point. None of us remember. They had to make a whole song about it to get us all to remember it. Stamp says 2022. Does it really? I am a fool, Kim. Why did I change the year? Did I do that the other day as well? No, there it is there. That must have just changed on its own. Must have been a ghost. Oh well. Oh, that is going to bug me. I'm just going to put a 1 there. There you go. 2021. Thank you, Shauna. Chris Hemsworth. Do you date your art journal as well? Oh, do you know, in my head, that sounded like, do I go on dates with my art journal? And I was like, this is a really odd question. I hope I don't offend by giving a weird answer, but no, I don't date my art journal. It's like I'm not having a love affair with my art journals. No, I don't typically, and that's just a habit I should probably try to kick, because I actually do enjoy seeing the dates on things. I think I'm hit and miss. I'm half and half. Yeah, I don't always date it, but it's a good practice to date it, because you will want to know when things happened for sure. Thank you, everybody. Yes, I will save this one. I will put this up on my blog like I did the other one as well, so I can take a few photos of this and make a little blog post. It was the haunted girl that... Don't say that, Rosalie. She changed the date. I cancel that. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again really soon. I'll be off at Zumba tonight. I gotta go stretch my back. She's getting old. Oh, I can feel it. I've got a Theragun, thank goodness, so hopefully I'll sort that out. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go put this on my blog. I will see you again another time soon. Until then, have a lovely afternoon.